Opening statement on the game and
Sure.
questions.
Sure. Well, really happy for our players. They have absolutely been on board, I feel like, since the first day I got here. And we have been working very hard to come together. And we've talked a lot about the unity and how being together, playing together, believing in each other, trusting each other will help us overcome adversity. And it almost felt like that first half, things might have gone a little bit too much our way. I mean, we knew we were playing a really good football team. We knew they were going to respond in the second half. And even though we played so cleanly in the first half, you know, you try to go out there with that 0-0 mindset. But you know deep down there's still going to be growing pains as a coach, and there certainly were in that third quarter. But the fact that there was no panic and the fact that we kept playing our game, defense stepping up, getting stops. The stop after the muff kickoff was just absolutely humongous. And then Sean's interception. We worked tirelessly on what we call matching hands, which is when you can't get home, get your hands up. And we knew this quarterback sometimes would let that ball come out a little bit low. And what an incredible play by him. And then obviously the run by Bark to basically put the game away after that. But I'm glad we had to deal with some adversity because there's certainly going to be more of that coming. But it's a good group of kids, and they've definitely earned this in more ways than one. You know, the kids that stuck around after, you know, a tough season last year. Sean coming back and having such a wonderful game in his debut. Thought we tackled really well tonight. We didn't give up a lot of explosive plays. And then on offense, we took care of the football. We ran the ball well. And then we knew we'd have to take some shots because they were packing the box. And it was great to see CJ and some of our receivers connect on those on the outside. So pleased with the performance on defense, especially, certainly on offense. And I guess what goes around comes around on special teams. The last time I got a punt blocked was against Cincinnati in 2019. So that one will sting for a long time. But to have a punt blocked and to still win the game convincingly, that just says all that much more about the defense and the offense's ability to grind it out there in the fourth quarter. So good stuff to build on there for sure.
CJ made his first start since 2021. How did you really see the chemistry between him and his receivers come together, particularly in the last 10 days?
Yeah, really good. You know, we have a lot of really good kids, and there's no like selfishness. There's no, well, you know, this was the quarterback and this was the receiver. We just kind of go out there and do what we do. And I'd like to think I'm sort of that way, but especially Dave Patnode is so comfortable with himself and never gets, you know, he gets fiery once in a while like any coach will, but he's very even-keeled and he's really gotten these guys to just be very comfortable with themselves. So, you know, whether it's CJ or one of the other quarterbacks, I don't think there's going to be a lot of, you know, why this guy, why that guy, why me. I don't feel any of those vibes whatsoever. I think our guys are just happy to be here, happy to have the opportunity to go out and play together, and they'll support whoever is in there together in the game.
Hey Pete, Sean's game tonight. When he got back to campus, how quickly could you tell that he's going to be a culture helper?
Yeah, he handled himself so well when he came back because he knew what he was capable of, but he also knew that there's a lot of new faces in that locker room, and these guys had already gone through 4 months of changing a culture together, and to step in there on Memorial Day or the day after Memorial Day and just say, hey, I'm the alpha in the locker room and this is the way it's going to be, I don't know if that would have been so well received. So the way he managed the summer, re-earning trust, building relationships, reacclimating himself, the time that he spent around the building, making sure that people were comfortable with him and that he was comfortable with all the new faces. He's just invested so much in such a short period of time. And you could just tell probably by after the 4th of July, if I had to pick a date, that, okay, you know, this guy is really making a difference around here, and people are feeding off him. And his level of preparation and his attention to detail and his chemistry with Joe Bowen, it's really special.
Can you talk a little bit? Sorry about that. Can you talk a little bit about the impact that Sean makes on a defense? Obviously today, the interception, 2 tackles for loss, 11 tackles total. Just everything he does out on the field. Just go a little bit deep about how
Sure.
he does that. Yeah.
Well, you have the maturity and the intelligence, the football IQ, which is really, really high level. But then because of those things and the fact that he plays so hard, he's a really efficient mover out there on the field. So he's able to put his body in really, really good position because the combination of preparation and instinct. And so you saw not only the interception and a couple TFLs tonight, there were some open field tackles that were legit week 1 tackles. And I thought overall we tackled well as a defense. I don't feel like there were a lot of yards after contact tonight. You know, what they got. And there were maybe 1 or 2 balls out there on our corners that got some extra yards. But for the most part tonight, if they caught it, we tackled it. If they ran it, you know, and there was a little crease, you know, we fit it up pretty good. You didn't see a lot of explosive runs, right? So that's a pretty darn good job by our kids and really good job by our staff, emphasizing the fundamentals throughout the preseason, because you don't want preseason to become you know, just a super physical where you get to your first game and you're not fresh. And we made a very conscientious decision early in preseason that, you know, we trust these guys are going to play hard, and we want to make sure they're coming in this game with their legs underneath them and feeling good and go out there and fly around. And I don't think there's any question they did that tonight.
Coach, you hadn't been run out in the field as a head coach for about 9 years.
I know, I'm rusty.
Did you have any extra emotions? I knew you knew it was coming, but still to actually.
Yeah, I really like these kids. You know, I just think they're a really good bunch, and you know, we're probably going to have some cardiac moments this year, but I was just really happy for them that they could feel good about it, and for our staff to feel good about it. And yeah, I'm just, as I've said many times, I'm grateful to be here, and I think there's a lot of people that probably needed this one tonight, so that's good.
Jekka Barksdale, 3rd running back on the roster.
Yeah, another. Let me just say this, man. I am rusty, because if I knew he had 99 yards, would have left him in there for one of those runs at the end of the game to get over 100. So, who's my media relations guy anyway? Can he get down there and tell me that in the 4th quarter, so we don't put the freshman in there and let him run it 7 times in a row? Holy cow!
At a time when the offense in the second half really needed a spark.
I agree.
Why was that important to the team? What kind of oomph did he give to the team?
Yeah.
Needed it?
So it's definitely running back by committee, and Ray Pickering does a great job of rotating those guys. And you know, Bark's been telling me since the spring, Coach, I'm going to be ready for games. You know, he's had a long career. He's had some bumps and bruises in his career, and I think coming out of spring, he just really wanted to to get to this moment and feel healthy in this moment. And so proud of him, and great job of Ray getting him in the game at the right time, where we needed. They're packing the box, and we still needed to run the ball. We needed to give our defense a break. They were out there way too much at some points there in the third quarter. And so we got some really critical first downs with the yards after contact. So really proud of Bark.
Having a group of alumni on the sidelines and some NFL players among them, Cam Lewis, Joe Andreessen, what did that kind of mean to have that connection to the past out there tonight?
Yeah, we've been working really hard to communicate with our football alums and to make those guys feel welcome here. And so I didn't even know that, because I'll be honest with you, I didn't even look back in the stands. I could kind of see across the field. Looked like we had a pretty good student turnout, which I'm grateful for. But when you get in the zone, you don't even really know who all's around you there. But that's great to hear that all those guys were here, and they're certainly welcome here anytime. And I think our football alums know that, whether they're playing in the NFL or they're working in a bank in New York, or working for Fannie Mae in D.C., or whatever the case may be. We want those guys to feel like they're an intimate part of what's going on. So we've been communicating with them regularly, and I sense that they appreciate that.
Coach, earlier in the week you said that tonight was going to be sort of a litmus test for your team and your program in terms of the progress you guys have made. I know this is just the start of what you want your team to be, but now the game over, how do you feel this litmus test went, and do you feel satisfied with the progress your team made?
Yeah, the best part was handling the adversity. That's really, to me, in the long run, having to go through the ups and downs, particularly in the second half that we did tonight, will help us more so than if this game was lopsided in the second half, which I'm not saying it couldn't have been. It wasn't, and I deal with reality, not with the what ifs. And the reality was, this felt like a tight game right up until that interception and the subsequent touchdown. So I think being in those adverse situations and having some bad things happen, as much as it pains me, in the long run will probably be good for us, because we're going to be in a lot of games with ups and downs in them throughout the year, I'm sure.
Special teams, I think some of us thought, watching you practice, that would be maybe one of the strengths of this team, and you really emphasize that. Why do you think maybe there were some issues in those plays tonight?
Yeah, I'll take full responsibility for that. So ultimately, it's me and preparing the team. And the block punt was a missed one-on-one by the personal protector. He gave up the inside on it. So we got to do a better job preparing him there to keep his leverage. And then the muffed kickoff return, we should have had the primary returner up a lot further than he was, knowing that guy had to kick it into the wind. So I'll take full responsibility for that stuff, and I've got to be more proactive in getting that stuff done, whether it's in practice during the week or on game day.
Coach, you got a hefty dose of welcome back to officiating tonight. A couple defensive pass interference calls going against you tonight. How do you adjust based on how those went down before?
Yeah, I'm not overly concerned about that. I thought the officiating crew did a really nice job. They were, I thought they communicated really well with me. I thought they let the kids play. The one late hit on their sideline, you saw that coming from 53 1/3 away. So I thought that was, there wasn't anything controversial about that. I would say if there was any one call that was controversial to me, we got a DPI on a ball that I thought we were going to intercept, and the guy kind of draped over our shoulders. I thought it was a no-brainer offensive pass interference. We'd actually seen Lafayette have a few of those last year, where an underthrown ball and their receivers were pulling the DB down. But look, we made some first game errors, and I'm sure the officials will go back, they'll watch the film, they'll probably critique themselves as well. But overall, I thought those guys did a really nice job letting us play. They used the replay when they were supposed to use the replay. You know, Taj's touchdown catch, you know, they came over and told me, they said, Coach, we think we need to review that. And sure enough, you know, he had the foot in. So I made a mistake. I thought one of Lafayette's catches was clearly out of bounds, and they're like, no, Coach, we watched it. He's in. So if anybody was rusty, it was probably me.
Coach? Thank you.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Have a great night. Okay.
From right to left, C.G. Ivana, Sean Dolak,
Nicholas
Barksdale,
McMillan.
and Nick McMillan. They're available for questions.
I'm gonna start asking CJ a question. Over the last 10 days, how, you know, you made your first start since 2021, but how did you really see the chemistry and the timing and the rhythm with your receivers come together over the last 10 days?
I would say it's a long process. It's been not just this year, last year. Most of the receivers that I'm throwing with now were like who I was throwing with when I was a 2. So our connection has been strong, and we've just been getting better every day. Like just extra work and just extra preparation.
Hey, Sean, your first game in a while, and also back here after your off season.
Yeah.
What were some of the emotions throughout the night of being back on this field?
Yeah, no, it was just a great game. First game back, obviously, and just the emotions were controlled because they have to be. You know, football has to be a controlled emotional game, and that's what they were. You know, I was excited to get back just to play with my teammates, and you know, it showed all over the field tonight, offensively and defensively. You know, we were flying around all night, and I'm just grateful we got to 1-0.
Take me through the interception.
Yeah, we were working on this play kind of throughout the whole week. You know, Coach Bowen does a great job in scouting Lafayette and the opponents, and we know they're a heavy RPO team, and specifically this play, we know there's going to be a window, and you know, I just went back to my training. You know, Coach Bowen did a great job coaching us linebackers, and you know, it just always instinct, all training, and that's what happened. I just flowed with the facts that we call it, the Y going across, and then you know, I knew the quarterback kept it, so I popped out into the window, and it was right there.
Nick, what was it like to really kind of see the pass game open up again for this offense? You know, kind of a little bit of an identity crisis last year for this team, but this year to really get that flow in.
Yeah, it was definitely a good thing to see coming from a receiver standpoint. You know, we want to get the ball, so throwing the ball was definitely something that we talked about this whole offseason, saying we didn't throw enough last year. So seeing it all come together today was definitely exciting to see.
Now, that touchdown, how did that unfold for you?
Yeah, it was a little stutter route. CJ threw a great ball, and I went up and got it, made a play.
Yeah.
Right. And why is it important now, you know, for everyone to really be on the same page offensively and on the pass game, especially with, you know, you got to turn the page and prepare for Missouri now?
I said, yeah, sure. We in season, so we got to be on the same page every week now. Weeks we ain't on the same page, we're going to lose. Simple as that.
CJ, you said last week that it was a dream of yours to one day be a starting quarterback at the FBS level. Now that you got your first start at this level, how was it out there tonight on the field?
It was really fun and exciting. Just having the defense playing well and offense clicking, it just felt fun to get back out there.
Kez, how were you able to kind of be the spark for this offense in the second half?
I just went out there and played hard, honestly. I just got behind my pads and lowered my shoulder. And I appreciate my O-line for blocking for me. It starts with them up front, and they just made hole for me, and I hit them.
You think that the fact that you're a bit of a different style than the other two running backs that they had seen might have been something they weren't entirely ready for?
It's probably something that has something to do with it. Probably, yes.
Sean, you mentioned the team morale on Tuesday. How do you think that played a role in the way you guys performed tonight?
Yeah, I think the morale of the team was great, like I told you the other day. You know, there was some adversity that happened to us, but, you know, we have to respond, and I think we did just that. You know, we had a block punt. Defense had to go out. Stuff happens, but, you know, we have to go out and, you know, be better for our offense. You know, if they need a hand, we got to help them out. If we need a hand, they're going to help us out. And just having that trust in them, having the faith that they're gonna do their job, we're going to do our job, you know, that's how we win games.
Sean, Pete talked about that block punt as kind of a critical moment in the game, and you've been here at times when that was the critical
Yep.
moment. What do you think is the difference that allowed this team not
Yeah.
to kind of get out of itself after a tough play like that?
Yeah, it's just, I think, staying poised and staying focused to the end goal. You know, the end goal is to win the game, and, you know, when that block punt happened, I think we were still up, and they didn't score. So it's like, as long, for defensively, as long as we don't let them in, they can't win, you know? And that's just having that mindset defensively, and then offensively, you know, we want to score. And just having the faith and having the belief that the offense is going to do their job, defense is going to do their job, and special teams will do their job. I guarantee you, coming up this week, we're going to make corrections, and we're going to get that stuff right.
Running backs. Pete had said, you know, it's running back by committee in, you know, in this offense, but you saw depth and production from this group. Why is that beneficial? But how do you build on that individually and as a unit, you know, to prepare for Missouri?
I feel like we have a lot of backs that can do a lot of different things. As me, I'd consider myself a power back, and we have other great backs that have different abilities, and I feel like that will help us versus Missouri coming in and showing them a few different things.
Because how did that hurdle come to be? Planned?
You said what?
Did you
I
plan
did
the
the hurdle.
Yes, I honestly did. I came off the sideline the previous drive and said, because they went for my legs, and I was like, I'm going to hurdle the next guy that comes after me.
Anything else for you guys? All right, thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.